Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Dawn. My husband and I got back last March from Eastern Europe when all the craziness was going on over there, and we are back in our cabin at 8,600 feet in the Colorado mountains, and I am learning to grow different things and garden and see what works up here in this high altitude. We have hot sun and short growing seasons. You may be somewhere that's warmer, or maybe you're inside. It really doesn't matter. What I have found out over this journey is you can grow things no matter where you live, no matter if you're in a little apartment without a balcony, if you have a balcony, if you have some space outside. There are, of course, different options you can do if you have that outside garden space, but it doesn't mean you can't grow anything if you don't. I have done a video on garden scraps that you can grow right in your house. And once you get that growing and you get those going, you don't have to keep making those expensive trips to the store all the time. And another video on herbs, that's another expense, but it really does add to cooking. So if you can grow your own herbs, then it's not only a fun project, it's a way that you can have fresh herbs all year round, and you don't have to worry about supply issues at the store. You don't have to worry about how much did that go up this week, because I know we're all feeling that. So I wanted to show you a video today that's a little bit different, because the other videos have been things you can do that are really quick and you get results pretty quickly, and it doesn't take a huge amount of effort and that kind of thing. This one's a little bit different, but it's one that I challenge myself with, and it's going pretty well. And it's all about lemons. Now, I did not use the Meyer lemons. I have found them now, which you can see them there. I found this in a couple of stores, so that may be the main ones they have around here. But I had never heard of Meyer lemons. Everyone kept saying, oh, you got to plant Meyer lemons, you got to plant Meyer lemons. I didn't know what that was. And I finally found them, and so I'm going to be doing those this time as well. But the lemons I have already planted, and I'll show you the method I'm using. Here's a couple of the pots. I got about, 6 or 8 of these good ones going, so I'm really thankful for that. I did try just a week ago, because I like to experiment as I'm learning to garden and just see what works for me. I have tried this other method here, and I'll talk about that method in a minute. So we'll see if anything comes up. Right now I'm not seeing anything, but maybe it will. It's only been a week, so we'll see. So I want to show you this method and how to grow these lemons right from the seed. So if you have seedlings that you get offline or something, certainly you could grow those as well. But this you can get right out of your store. I do use organic because we're going to be eating them. And right now, for us anyway, an organic lemon's about $1. And so that's not too much. And then I know that they've been grown organically, and I just like that better for us. So I'm going to be using organic lemon, and I'll show you what to do with your seeds, and then we'll get them planted, and they'll be growing. But the one thing I did want to tell you is, as you're growing these, this is one you have to be a little patient with, because it takes a few years to get the actual lemons on them. Now, you'll have the pretty plant, and they will have to be outside for a little while if you're going to get lemons, because the flowers have to be pollinated from the pollinators. But even if you don't have an outside, you can certainly have a beautiful lemon plant growing, and a lemon tree eventually growing. But either way, you will be able to have fresh lemons, and it will be a really fun experiment for you. And that's what I'm doing. And so these are growing now for about 2 months. They've been going. I've got them inside, and I've started using worm tea with them. I heard a lot about worm tea, and I'll put the link for this one. I don't know if you can see that. I'll put the link for this one down in the description. I didn't know what worm tea was either. That was something that was really odd when I first heard that. But all you have to do, this is a concentrate. So when you get that, remember that you're not just buying that will last a really long time. But just read your directions, and this one says to put 1 to 2 teaspoons in a gallon. So what I do is I have my teaspoon, and I have my half-gallon mason jar, which I just love using my mason jars for so many things. And that's what I use to water my lemons now. And they seem to really be liking it because they sprouted well and then they were kind of slowing down. So there's a couple of tips. There's the worm tea that's working well, and then another one here that we'll get to in just a moment. Before I go any further though, I do want to do like I do on all my videos, because we are trying to unplug from the craziness. Remember that life is good, that God meant it to be that way. And so I like to share from the scriptures, just a couple of scriptures of hope to help remind you today that it's not just all craziness. It's not just all insanity. So this one's out of Proverbs. And I really like Proverbs because there's 31, so you can read one a day every month and get through them over and over again. But this is Proverbs 15, verses 1 through 5. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. The tongue of the wise adorns knowledge, but the mouth of the fools gushes folly. The eyes of the Lord are everywhere, keeping watch on the wicked and the good. The soothing tongue is a tree of life, but a perverse tongue crushes the spirit. A fool spurns a parent's discipline, but whoever heeds correction shows prudence. So those are just some good reminders for us today. And then another one in the New Testament, in Romans chapter 3, verse 21 to 25, it says, "But now, apart from the law, the righteousness of God has been made known, to which the law and the prophets testify. This righteousness is given through faith in Jesus Christ to all who believe." That is good news today. "There is no difference between Jew and Gentile, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, and all are justified freely by his grace through the redemption that came by Christ Jesus. God presented Christ as a sacrifice of atonement through the shedding of his blood to be received by faith." And the wonderful news with that is you can be among that all. You can be one of those. And as I always say, I have links down below that will tell you, take you to where you can learn more about Jesus, and you can learn how to be a follower of him if that is something that you would love to do. Okay, so first with the lemons, this method here is simply cutting open a lemon and getting the seeds and putting them in the dirt. Now, again, I can't say I've had success with this because I just now tried it and I don't see any growth yet, but it's only been a week, so I don't know. But the method that I have found really does work, and it works well, and what I have heard is the secret to it is when you have a lemon, you don't want to just slice it all the way through, because right in the middle is where those seeds are, and you don't want to slice through the seeds. So you just kind of cut along the outside, and I'll show you this in just a second. Not all the way through. And you could do this longwise or this way, it doesn't matter. And then what I do is just twist it open. So I only cut on the very edge. And then there's all those seeds. They're right there. And you haven't hurt them, you haven't cut through them or anything. But the secret to this is, and I did not know this, maybe you do, have you done this before? Or if you have another method that you have used for citrus or for lemons, put it down in the comments and maybe people will be able to use that too, and that would help somebody else. But what I have found out is this coming out of the lemon is not the seed. The seed is inside of this. So there is a coating, a protective coating on there. And the easiest way that I have found is just to take a paper towel and rub it. And that helps take out, because it's kind of slimy and things like that. And then I'm not going to take the time to do it on here, but it's super simple. And I'll show you. Well, actually, it just did it kind of on its own. See how that's peeling off there? I don't know if you can see that or not. But you just peel that open, and the seed is inside there. And when you get the seed out, well, I said I wasn't going to take the time because takes a while, but then I thought it was going to be easy, but it may not. because it's a little slippery. But once you get the seed out of the extra coating, that is what you're going to actually plant. And that, there. So this is the seed now. And this was the coating that was on the seed. So the actual seed is what you want to use. Remember that, and that really helps. And it did. Every single one of mine that I planted, they've all started growing. So that's good. Now, once you have this, you don't just put it right in the dirt. You can try. And again, that's kind of what that is back there. And that's one thing I would really encourage you, especially if you're just learning gardening like I am. Try lots of different methods, because you'll hear lots of different methods. I know I certainly have, from all different kinds of people. So just try a few and see what works for you. But what you do, or what I have done that works successfully for me, is you get a paper towel and you get it dampened, and then you put your seeds on there. Just like that, separate it out, a little bit of space between them, and then you fold it up and you have it moistened, and then you put it inside of a baggie, all moistened. And you want to write on there, of course, you know, lemon and the date you put it on there, because life gets busy and you're going to forget. You may not think you will. That's why these have tags on them, because once you get a bunch of little things growing, is that my lemon? I'm not sure. You will forget. So you can get these tags. They have them everywhere at hardware stores, Ace Hardware, anywhere like that. You can get these kind of things. So make sure you label them. Same thing with your baggie. Just label that. And maybe put an alarm on your phone or something, because this needs to go in the dark for about a week, maybe even up to 2 weeks. But you'll know, because your little seeds in there will start to have sprouts on them. And that's how you'll know it's time. So just make an alarm for about a week and check that, and then maybe leave it a little bit longer. And then once you have your seeds that have the sprout on it, you're going to put it in a pot. Now I have this clay pot here, and I like using those because with these being citrus, you know, they need to have that good drainage. So that's what I like to do. And then put, of course, your soil in there, and I've talked about it before. I use Kellogg's soil, but put some in there at the same time. Another tip that works really well, that's been working well for me, is put in sand, just like play sand. You can get it at the wherever you live, you know, Lowe's, Menards, Home Depot, whatever. You can get them there, and put in 2 times as much sand as you do soil. Now I'm doing this for the video, but it probably would be easier for you to mix this all up and then pour the soil in there, rather than doing it like I'm doing it here. So I'm putting 1 handful of dirt and then 2 handfuls of soil. And of course you're going to want to mix that up, but that will give you really good drainage for your citrus, because remember, they are used to having the well-drained soils down in Florida and places like that. Okay, so once you get this and you got your little sprouts on there, then you would just put them into your soil that you've made, your soil and your sand, and then it probably would be good to cover it with a piece of cellophane or something. Keep it moist until it starts sprouting. You do want to have good sunlight on it. You know, 3 to 6 hours a day will get you some leaves. But if you're going for that lemon plant, if you're able to put it outside at least part of the year and that kind of thing, you're going to want to have a good 6 to 8 hours of sunlight, or the grow lights like I've got here. I got one to show you. I really like these, and these are the ones that I use, because as you can see, they're flexible, and you can put them in all different directions. And this one has 3, my other one has 4 arms on it. And the lights, they can go, like right now it's got the white, red, and blue, but they have different settings, and you can even put it so that it's just the red and blue lights, or you can have just the white lights or whatever. And they're very inexpensive. So I'll put a couple links down there that you can look at, and I'm sure you could find one too. And that's been something that's really been helpful for me. Okay, so that's all you have to do, and then just let it sit and let it grow. And as you're watering it, what I'm doing is you just use this like your regular water for your plants. Just use that worm tea water, and that helps them grow and helps them keep going and gives them that boost that they need. And then, of course, there are citrus fertilizers that you can use when you're putting them outside. It's going to be grow season and you really want them to get big. And they even have minerals in them and things like that. And you could use that too once you're putting it in there. But you don't want to use that all the time. And it's got directions on the back. That's one nice thing about all these products. They have directions on the back. But the worm tea, it can be used all the time just with your watering and just keeps your plants going really nicely. So what do you think? Have you tried to grow lemon trees, or do you think 4 years is just too long to wait to get a fruit like that? You know, life is going so fast that we've been here almost a year already. So I've only got 3.5 more years and I'll get those lemons hopefully. So let me know what you think in the comments. Please do subscribe and hit the bell so you'll be notified of new videos. If you like this video, please also hit the like button. Thank you very much for stopping by. I look forward to talking to you next time. Bye-bye.